Zixthara's mandibles clicked in what other species mistook for aggression, but the Vraxian knew better now. It was contemplation, a habit picked up from watching humans furrow their peculiar furless brows when deep in thought. The irony wasn't lost on the 8-foot-tall insectoid warrior. 3 cycles ago, humans had been nothing more than exotic prey in the galactic hunt, soft pink creatures with laughably fragile bones and primitive technology. The Vraxian hive had cataloged them as persistence predators, Class D threat level. How spectacularly wrong they had been. Standing on the observation deck of the UGC Defiance, Zixthara watched human engineers work alongside Centaurian technicians. Their small hands, somehow more precise than appendages evolved specifically for manipulation. Captain Sarah Chen approached, her footsteps deliberate but unhurried, another human trait that had initially puzzled the Vraxian. "The retrofit's almost complete," Chen said, joining Zixthara at the viewport. "Your weapon systems integrated better with our tech than anyone predicted." Zixthara's compound eyes shifted to regard the human captain. "Your species continues to surprise, Captain Chen. When the Thraknor swarm invaded your homeworld, most civilizations would have surrendered after losing 60% of their fleet." Chen's lips curved upward, that strange facial contortion humans called a smile. "You obviously hadn't studied us closely enough during your hunting days." The memory struck Zixthara like a plasma bolt. 3 years earlier, the Vraxian had led a hunting party to Earth, expecting easy prey. They had tracked a small human settlement in the Northern Territories, planning to harvest a few specimens for the fighting pits of Vrax Prime. The humans had been outnumbered, outgunned, and technologically inferior. By every tactical calculation, they should have been collected within hours. Instead, the settlement's defender, a human called Marcus Rivera, had turned their superior firepower against them. Rivera hadn't fought like any prey species the Vraxians had encountered. He had studied their tactics during the initial assault, adapted to their plasma frequencies, and somehow convinced the local wildlife to aid in the defense. When Zixthara's hunters tried to flank the settlement, they found Earth's apex predators, bears, wolves, even the humans' domesticated companions, blocking their advance. But it was Rivera's final gambit that had shattered Zixthara's understanding of warfare. The human had deliberately triggered an avalanche, sacrificing strategic position to trap half the Vraxian force. Then, instead of finishing them, Rivera had offered medical aid to the wounded hunters. "Your kind showed mercy to those who came to hunt you," Zixthara said now, the memory as vivid as yesterday. "It was unprecedented. We learned from you." "Too," Chen replied. "Your hunting techniques taught us patience. Your weapon technology saved millions when the swarm attacked." The Thraknor swarm had been the galaxy's nightmare for centuries, a hive-minded species that consumed entire worlds, leaving nothing but stripped rock behind. When they descended on human space, most species had prepared for humanity's extinction. The humans had other plans. They had done something no species had attempted in 300 years of swarm encounters. They had gone on the offensive. Using Vraxian hunting tactics, human strike teams had infiltrated swarm bioships, targeting not the warriors but the essential support organisms. They had studied Thraknor communication patterns and developed jamming frequencies that turned the swarm's greatest strength, their unity, into confusion and chaos. But the humans hadn't stopped there. They had convinced their former predators to join the fight. The Council of Species still debates how your delegation persuaded our hive queen to ally with you, Zixthara admitted. We had been adversaries for barely 2 of your years. Chen's expression grew thoughtful. Your people understand honor. When Marcus Rivera freed your captured hunters instead of executing them, it sent a message throughout your hive. We weren't the prey you thought we were. The liberation of Vraxian prisoners had indeed resonated through the hive's neural network. Prey species didn't show mercy to predators. Prey species didn't study their hunters' tactics and improve upon them. And prey species certainly didn't invite their former adversaries to join them in facing an even greater threat. The Thraknor War had lasted 18 standard months. Human ingenuity, Vraxian hunting expertise, and the combined technologies of 14 allied species had finally broken the swarm's advance. But it was humanity's strategic thinking that had secured victory. While other species focused on destroying swarm bioships, humans had targeted the swarm's reproductive capacity. They had developed viruses that specifically attacked Thraknor, breeding chambers, turning the swarm's rapid reproduction against them. Within 6 months, new swarm births had dropped to 0. Within a year, the swarm faced extinction. Your people offered them sanctuary, Zixthara said, still amazed by the memory. Even after everything they had destroyed, you gave the surviving Thraknor a chance to evolve beyond their consuming nature. Everyone deserves a chance to be better than what they were, Chen said simply. The reformed Thraknor colonies now served as agricultural specialists, their biological expertise helping to restore worlds they had once stripped bare. Like the Vraxians, they had discovered that partnership with humans offered something their original nature never could: growth beyond instinct. A soft chime indicated incoming communication. Chen activated her comm unit, and the familiar voice of Admiral Harrison filled the bridge. Captain Chen, we're receiving distress signals from the Outer Rim. The Kethvar Empire has begun expansion protocols into non-aligned space. Zixthara's mandibles clicked rapidly, this time in genuine anticipation. The Kethvar were slavers, subjugators who viewed other species as resources to be harvested. They had avoided human space during the Thraknor War, but now they apparently believed humanity was weakened by the conflict. Shall I prepare our hunting protocols, Captain? Zixthara asked. Chen's smile grew predatory, an expression that would have terrified the Vraxian 3 years ago, but now filled them with fierce satisfaction. Yes, but remember what we've learned. We hunt to protect, not to harvest. As the Defiance changed course toward the Outer Rim, Zixthara reflected on the transformation. The Vraxian had once been apex predators, hunting across the galaxy for sport and profit. Now they were guardians, using those same skills to protect the innocent and preserve peace. The humans had taught them something revolutionary. The greatest predators weren't those who hunted for themselves, but those who hunted for others. In South, learning to fight beside humanity, the Vraxians had discovered their true nature. They were still predators. They were still hunters, but now they hunted for justice,